And the call to order, the regular meeting of the Gary Redevelopment Commission is now in order. Roll call.
Thank you, President Rogie. Commissioner Chambers.
Here.
Commissioner Clemens. Here. Commissioner Stalling.
Present.
Commissioner Washington.
Present.
And President Rogie.
Present.
Let the record show that there are no absents and we do have a quorum and we can proceed with business.
Acceptance of the general meeting agenda of June 26, 2024.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I make a motion to amend tonight's agenda to add on the agenda the changing of meetings from one meeting a month to 2 meetings a month starting July 1st.
Okay, motion.
Second.
And second. No discussion? Then roll call.
Commissioner Chambers.
Yes.
Commissioner Clemens.
Yes.
Commissioner Stalling.
Yes.
Commissioner Washington.
Yes.
President Rogie.
Yes.
For, my apologies, the motion is carried.
We need to, yeah, for the public comment and presentations.
Okay. Certification of record.
Mr. Chair, you have to, we made a motion and it was approved to amend the agenda, so now we have to approve the agenda since the amendment to go forward. So we need to vote on the approval of the amended agenda for today's meeting.
Oh, you
That's my motion.
Very good. Is there a second to?
Yes, second.
Second, and roll call.
Commissioner Chambers.
Yes.
Commissioner Clemens.
Yes.
Commissioner Stalling.
Yes.
Commissioner Washington.
Yes.
And President Rogie.
Yes.
Motion is passed.
Certification of record of executive session held on June 26, 2024. I hereby certify that nothing has been discussed in the executive session held immediately before this open meeting except those items specified and listed in the notice. Do I have somebody to agree with that?
So moved.
Motion. Is there a second?
Yes, second.
And there's a second. So roll call.
Commissioner Chambers.
Yes.
Commissioner Clemens.
Yes.
Commissioner Stalling.
Yes.
Commissioner Washington.
Yes.
And President Rogie.
Yes.
The motion is passed.
Acceptance of the minutes from the meeting held on June 5th, 2024.
Move for the acceptance of the minutes of the meeting held on June 5th, 2024.
A second.
Move in second. And roll call.
Commissioner Chambers.
Yes.
Commissioner Clemens.
Yes.
Commissioner Stalling.
Yes.
Commissioner Washington.
Yes.
And President Rogie.
Yes.
The motion has passed.
Okay. Looks like we have some people here for public comment.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I failed in changing tonight's meeting and agenda. I would like to bring before the body to further amend tonight's agenda meeting to allow BWI to conduct a presentation before the public regarding the Palace Theater.
And allow for public comment. And allow for public comment about the Palace Theater.
You say what?
And allow for public comment about the Palace
Put it
Theater.
in the public. Put it in part of the public comment. Make it part of the public comment.
Make it a part of it?
Yeah,
Part
so,
of the public comment.
yeah, allow public comment on the Palace and agenda items and allow for the presentation regarding the
So
Palace.
they'll do the presentation first and
We'll get the public comments first and then we'll have the presentation after.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But
So
allowing the Palace.
the amended agenda to allow the presentation by BWI after the public comments.
Yes. And allowing public comment to discuss the Palace.
And allowing, Attorney Jenkins, can you clarify? So the motion is to amend tonight's agenda to allow for BWI to make a public presentation. That would be after the public comments. but the public is allowed to make comments regarding any word they have on BWI.
Yes, I think that form of the motion is acceptable, yes. If
Okay.
that's what you want to do, yes. Now, that you made the motion, can we get a second?
Second.
Okay, that's been moved and second. Any other discussion on that?
Need a vote.
That roll call.
Commissioner Chambers?
Yes.
Commissioner Clemens?
Yes.
Commissioner Stalling?
Yes.
Commissioner Washington?
Yes.
And President Rogi.
Yes.
The motion is passed.
Okay, now we're back to public comment.
Everyone will have 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Council,
Well, actually, but this isn't really a question and answer section.
but it's a legal issue, Council, and you're the counsel for the board. The public, I believe the public is here, they would take issue with not being able to make a comment regarding what they heard from the BWI if the BWI is going after the public comments. So the sequence of it, I would believe that the public will have issue with the sequence of the public comment. Yeah, that's what he said. Because the BWI is due first. That way we don't get here and talk about verbiage. We waste your time about verbiage that means nothing. If we have, our speech will not be relevant, we have no information about BWI or the project that means something, meaningful information.
Okay.
Thank you.
For keeping.
I mean, it's okay, you got, but like realistic, so I'll just answer that quickly. We are allowing public comment, but it doesn't have to be, the order is not specified legally. Like our allowance of public comment is just in our
It's a privilege.
policies and procedures. So you have the right to speak, but I mean, because we allow it, but it's not like certain other items that appear before other bodies. Like for example, in the planning commission where, you know, you're directly commenting, because it's not a public comment section. It's not like a notice and comment where you comment specifically on what's being done. And this is just a presentation that we're doing for the benefit of the public, but you are welcome to speak on your opinions about it. So it's just not that type of
So just to
venue.
be clear,
Yes.
public comment is a privilege, not a right.
On this particular type of item.
Okay. And what particular type of item is that?
So we're just allowing the public to speak about the agenda items only. Under our policies and procedures and bylaws, we're not specifically
We
allowed.
haven't even given us the agenda items. We don't have any.
There is no agenda.
We do have an agenda.
Where's that at?
I'm the only one who can hear me because I have no audio or anything. You're having a secret meeting up there. Please allow the public to hear and allow the public to speak. It's simple.
I believe we are speaking as loud as we can. So,
Excuse me, I sure hate to do this. I'm Carla Moore, Corporation Officer for the city. The public is not allowed to be disruptive at the meetings. So you are allowed, because the board allows you, this is per state law, to have a certain amount of public comment when the board calls for it. If you would like copies of the agenda, we will provide that now during this meeting. But please stop disrupting and berating the board, everyone.
May I have a copy of the agenda?
You sure can, sir, as soon as I can physically give it to you, I'll get it to you. But can we respect this commission is operating in accordance with the law and not disrupt this meeting?
Did you make notes on yours?
Mr. Chairman, let me say this. I will apologize to the public for the motion. What we did didn't necessarily need to have put in that motion about not being able to comment based on the agenda. We amended, based on the agenda, we amended to allow a presentation by BWI. The public comments always come before the presentation regardless. So if there is anything that anyone wants to say about what was done previously about the sale of the Palace Theater and BWI, I'm pretty sure you have those comments ready for us to hear. But based on our agenda, regardless of the motion that was just approved, the presentation always comes after the public comments. So I will apologize for the way that the motion was structured, because the motion does seem like something was trying, but since I looked at the agenda, the public comments always come before the presentations. So I think that's what the problem was. So I apologize for that in structuring that that way, because I think people have the right to say what they need to say, but that was going to be said anyway from what has, why people are here in the first place. But to have a motion to restrict anybody from making a comment about a presentation, I apologize for that. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we just need to move forward.
So I think we are at the public comment section. Does anyone want to speak about anything that's on the agenda, which also includes the Palace Theater?
When we get the agenda,
They're on their way down now.
I suppose so.
So here, I want to offer the opportunity that I know that there are several members of the public that already had comments and concerns regarding the Palace Theater or the process, and this is the opportunity that if you want to be able to offer those comments publicly, you have the ability to do so in 2 minutes.
He has a list.
3 minutes, I'm sorry.
3 minutes, 3 minutes.
That's the public comment list.
Oh, okay. We have a list for public comment.
Okay. Okay. Oh. All right. Okay. All right. So the first comment that we have would be Mike Zoller. Is Mike? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay. I guess we're told that's just a sign-in sheet.
Okay. Public. I see. There's a note for public comment participation. So the first person on the list would be Doreen Carey. Public comment participation. Would you like to speak?
All right, and you have 3 minutes.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. Thank the board and the audience that comes here today. I was planning to speak on the agenda, but as we have not seen it yet, I'll just mention that I'm very interested in what's happening with the determination of Fulcrum Center Point and whether or not they are finally not going to, sign all the papers they need to sign and are not going to own the property or construct a traffic fuel plant on our lakefront.
Okay. Let's see. The next person we have is Carolyn McCready.
Good evening, everyone. Here. I am also concerned about Fulcrum finally ending the charade that we've been put through in the city, and I'm hoping to hear something soon about resolution of them being gone legally. And so that's what I want to say. I also want to say that I am very glad to see that the city is engaging in redevelopment of our downtown. Very glad, and I have every confidence that it's going to be handled precisely and appropriately and above board. And like I said on my radio show the other night, everyone wants to see our downtown come back. When I first came to the city, that's all everyone talked about was what the downtown used to be. Oh, it was so wonderful. And so I think that we should need to embrace the idea of that rebirth. And I'm very excited by it, and I'm very happy to know that there are such critical thinkers involved in the planning of how all this will happen. I just would like to say that I hope that we have workforce and local hiring as part of the agreement, if the city should so choose BWI, that there be local hiring and that there be job training and apprenticeships and opportunities, because I believe if we're going to rebuild our city, it has to be done. We need a workforce development issue right now. We don't have to, but that can be solved. And I think all of our redevelopment projects should include local hiring, apprenticeships. That only makes sense. Go to any other city in this area, you see people who live there, working there. We don't see that here. And that's wrong, and it needs to stop. We have the highest unemployment rate in the state. We can change that. But we have to have intentional policies to make that happen. So, again, thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. All right.
Any other public comment?
Yeah, there's more.
I have a list of it.
Oh, you got it, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
There's quite a bit. Okay. All right. So the next speaker I have here is Bruce Curry. Okay.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
Good.
Okay, 3 minutes. First of all, I want to give respect to the Development Commission. Thank you for being here, your efforts, and to the community. I want to change the paradigm tonight. There's a lot of people here, diverse, white, black, Hispanic, whatever we got in our community. We want to work together. Things need to change. And we've got to change our just attitude. I saw some disrespect early in this meeting. We need to respect this group. The same old way we used to do it, there's got to change. And when it comes to infrastructure, we obviously got to have a master plan. We got to invest in our community. So when projects come out, we don't have this, we have the money right here in the community. We got to look at all avenues and be open arms and love to everybody that comes to Gary. This is a project about helping the citizens in the community. We got to promote innovation and entrepreneurship in the community. We got to strengthen, we need our kids to come out of education. I'm over the NAACP education piece. They need to have jobs when they graduate instead of leaving Gary, going to Indianapolis and everywhere else. We got to get it together here. We can't be fighting each other, wasting time. We got to move ahead with some of the priority projects that are going on in Gary. We need to foster, we need to come up and have good regulations that give tax incentives, whatever we got to do to help promote. But we got to think, whatever you did before you came here tonight, and the way you done Gary, you got to do the opposite. And we got to promote this city. We got to foster inclusion, and it can't just look just like me. It's got to be everybody has an opportunity. You can't, well, there's no Gary contract involved. We can't get away from all that. You're going to be plenty of Gary contracts, plenty of Indianapolis, plenty of China, Russia, whatever we got. I hate to say Russia, but it could be that. They live here. We're all one in this United States. This is one of the most prosperous economies in the country. We need a piece of that pie. Every time I look around, Indianapolis every May makes billions of dollars for the Indianapolis 500. Where's Gary's piece of the pie? We got to bring something here. We are unique. We have the cleanest body of water in the world. You got to quit being negative and start putting one project at a time. We can't eat an elephant, but we can eat a little bit and show some success every single year. I don't want to see all this fighting no more. When this group comes up with a priority project, we move back. If we don't, we won't make progress. We haven't made progress in 55 years. Today is the day to start. We got our school system back. It's time to take our economy back. And if we need, I don't care what color the entrepreneur is, as long as they bring green dollars and jobs to our young people, Gary. I got 2 seconds left. Thank you. I appreciate it. I just want to let you know that's where I'm at. I don't know what's on the agenda, but let's be open-minded, folks. Let's be respectful of each other. That's all I ask. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Chairman, can I have the floor real quick? Chairman? Okay. I just want to make a comment. Everyone has the agenda now, and I appreciate the comments we've had so far. I just want to make sure that the public knows the public comments are on agenda items only, and this includes which may not be on your form, it also includes the presentation regarding the Palace Theater, or any comments you have about the theater. So just keep the public comments limited to the agenda items, and we'll proceed with the public comments.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate the comments so far.
Okay. So let's see. I have Armory Williams. I'm not sure if you intended to speak. I didn't see a yes or a no. Armory Williams? Yeah, I'm going through Armory Williams. Amory Williams. Would you like to speak?
And public comment on agenda items only. Public comment on agenda items only.
And the Palace Theater.
Yes. For specific properties, yes.
What's the address?
Okay.
I don't think that's on our agenda today.
That's not that particular property.
Yeah, we're not demolishing, your property is not on our agenda today, sir.
I'm speaking in general as a citizen here.
The public comments are limited to agenda items only.
For not this.
Oh, is that the problem? Okay.
The agenda list doesn't make clear.
Oh, I apologize. Thank you.
Ordinance you using to do a complete demolition of my property has limited. Only removing was also a public safety issue in this ordinance. And I was denied due process of any notification or any complaints about my property. But yet I get it. So the first thing I hear from you guys is you want to tear it down. There's no stop in any hearings. And if you go further down in chapter 9, say about 22 or 25, it says that you are required to give me notice. And you are required to let me know when your bid is going to be put out, when they accept it, how much it's going to be, and such and so forth. So there's a whole lot of things in this. So under this, the best you can do is come down there and just take these bricks down. You cannot tear it down. But don't just look at this section and bypass all the things that don't fit your agenda. Plus, you send me through a court process where the building department determines my building.
Yeah. You want to say that?
Yeah. Okay.
Get down and get out.
So here, I do want to make a comment that your building is collapsed. Your building is collapsed onto both the alley, partially onto your building. So through state code. So yeah. Corporation Counsel Morgan.
Sir, I'm going to remind the audience you are not allowed to disrupt the public meeting.
I'm not listening.
Yes, you are. Sir, you are. And you're disrupting it. You're not commenting on what is on the agenda. If you don't cease, we're going to have to ask you to leave. And your interpretation of unsafe building law is incorrect, sir. Your building is a threat and a danger to the public. Okay. Sir, are you in the circle?
I'm gone. Okay? You're going to be corporation counsel. You can go through this and see that they don't have authority to tear something down. But this statute only gives you the right to remove the dangerous portion.
Endangers residents of Gary.
What residents of Gary?
Died in that building collapse.
What?
Someone died.
That building collapsed in 2013.
Which is all the more reason why it needs to be demolished.
You're denying everyone from the public the service of this board, but you're not allowed to. And the board already knows that you don't have to take abuse from anybody. So I would just suggest that you tell people in advance exactly how long they're allowed to speak and enforce the rule that they only speak on what's on the agenda. This is going to keep happening, unfortunately, today. We don't want to have to escort people out, but we certainly will.
Right.
Thank you. Sorry. Come back up.
So do you want to comment on that?
Sure. Yes. Yeah. So
a little confusion.
Sure. So I do want to express Mr. Williams' concern regarding his property at 810, 813 Washington Street. Just as what he has shared, the building has partially collapsed in 2013. Now, how the structure collapsed, there was some debris within the alley. Again, there's still remnants left of the second level that is still open and exposed to the elements that could be a greater threat in the future with it not being mitigated through the powers that be through Indiana code. That is considered an emergency demolition opportunity to which no notification is required. Now, unfortunately, since it's been 11 years since that structure has collapsed, nothing has changed. And we have to make some difficult decisions moving forward in the redevelopment of our downtown and the blight that exists in our downtown that we will not permit any longer. So I just want to make sure that that was clear for the public to understand of what transpired. And as I move forward on the list of speakers, again, we just ask that you comment on agenda items only, and in addition to items regarding the Palace Theater, whether it be from what you've heard or seen last week or in weeks past, or questions you may have for the developer that will be speaking and presenting to us today. So we're going to move forward down the list, and I have let's see, Eric Allen. Eric Allen. Okay.
Actually, I will relinquish my time, given that I had some questions relative to the, not comments, and so I will relinquish my time.
Okay, thank you. All right. Let's see, the next speaker I have is Andy Young.
3 minutes.
It puts the speakers at a terrific disadvantage to try and have an intelligent comment in advance of knowing what you're going to say about all these agenda items. And it's kind of ridiculous that you expect us, but I guess a lot of people here came to talk about the Palace Theater, and I think it would be unfair to them, which spent their time coming here, to not be able to say anything after the presentation. I mean, and plus, even the developer, not really fair to them, because he may say things, and then people may want to address questions directly to him. He may be perfectly happy answering them, and that's would be the public discourse you'd expect on a proposal like this. I mean, that's the way it always has been. I've never been at a public meeting in Gary where you were forced to make your comments in advance of, we don't know what you're going to discuss about all these agenda, like for example, the demolitions, there's addresses, so this is really light on information. Really don't know what's going on here, and it's ridiculous to ask people to stand up here and make a cogent presentation about something that hasn't happened. We could make comments on what your actions are, and then I guess we'd make comments on what we thought about the presentation. And that's why most people are here. So I just think it's batting out of order, and it's not the way it's done at council meetings, not the way it's done at GH. Any meeting I've ever been to, I've never heard it where you go first and then we do everything else. It really takes your rights to speak on what your actions are.
I'd like to.
Yeah, if I can make a comment.
Yeah, well, I wanted to make a comment first. So I appreciate your concern, Mr. Young. So here, initially, when I started as director, I wanted to provide the opportunity for the public to be able to speak before we voted on items, so that you have the ability to be able to talk to the commissioners about what your concerns are. So then if there's the ability to be able to maybe have the commission table an opportunity based on a very valuable point that the public had made, that we can reconsider for a future meeting. I didn't want that opportunity to us go through order of business and then leave it up to public comment after we voted through business. So I made the decision to move up the public comment before we ran through order of business to provide the opportunity for people to speak. Now, this particular situation with our agenda, that was a mishap. But understand that for the agenda item for the Palace Theater, there's no order of business regarding the Palace Theater, but out of courtesy, understanding several social media comments that have been circulating, several mistruths need to be discussed and dispelled, that we've asked the developer to come and out of courtesy to present and provide more information to the public about the project. And for allowing our commission, we made the motion to be able to allow the public to bring those concerns that were circulated on social media and the radio, WLTH, to be able to talk about and bring those comments and be able to express it openly, so then the developer can be able to address it, in their presentation. So that was the logic and the thought process, but still allowing the opportunity to have the public be able to speak before order of business. So.
Every item, there's people can speak on that item, and then at the end of the meeting, they can just talk about anything they want in general. But at a city council meeting, like on third reading, I think, that people get to go up to the mic and speak on, and air their views on that particular item. So, I mean, by that, and I guess every time you go to the agenda, we should have the opportunity to make their comments before you vote. That's what you want. You want public comment to maybe possibly persuade you to vote one way or another, or bring matters to your attention that maybe weren't brought to your attention already. You know, that's why we have public meetings. Otherwise, you just do everything in executive session at the end of it. But, you know, we're supposed to be transparent, self-transparency. And, you know, it just doesn't seem like the right way to do it. I mean, just talking versus just, you know, what are we going to say? We don't know what we're going to talk about. Then we're muzzled after that. You know, no matter what happens after the public comments close in the wrong place, then no matter what you guys do and whatever they say, you can't see a peep. You got to go home and talk about it on Facebook. You know, which apparently you don't like that because you want to address those comments that people are making on Facebook. And probably part of the reason they make them on Facebook is they can't. And if they could do it here, maybe they wouldn't do it on Facebook. So I think that when he makes his presentation, I think that the developer should field comments from this project. You know, be probably instructive to everybody and helpful to everybody to move this project forward.
Did you want to say?
Yeah, I just want to emphasize again what Chris mentioned already, which was that there's no action item being done today. The presentation is just informative, but you guys can express your grievances about the Palace Theater itself. And I also want to indicate that there's a little bit of a distinction between like what you're suggesting needs to be the case. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm saying that there's no action item on the Palace Theater today. The presentation is for the benefit of the public to let you know what's going on. But you can all still express your concerns with the Palace Theater. And I also want to make a distinction like between what the expectation is here. There's a difference between notice and comment rulemaking, which is what you're referring to, where an action item is put for the public to make a comment on specifically, versus items that are maybe usually passed by the Redevelopment Commission. Like, for example, if there's a zoning issue or something like that, that's a very specific item where notice has to be given to specific property owners so they can come and remonstrate and say what they need to say about a particular item. But to open the floodgates to the public entirely on every item is not something that is done in the public. So I don't want to put that out there. Like, we're not hiding anything here. And our ability to just give the public the right to make comments, we're doing that, but that's just really like not specifically outlined by the code to give you that on these particular types of items. Like, if there's not a particular action item that requires it, then we don't have to give that. I just want to make that clear, but we do allow the public to speak on whatever their concerns are. So that's all I have to say about that.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna move through the remainder of the speakers in courtesy of everyone's time. So the next speaker that we have, oh wow, is this Tom Belena? Geez, Tony? Tony Glenn. Oh, Tony, your signature. Okay. Tony Glenn, you have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Commissioner. Listen, I came out to speak on the balance myself, as everybody else did here today. Obviously, there will be a presentation, but I think the Redevelopment Commission should go back and look at this deal with all your eyes and restructure if the deal is going to go forward, or take some consideration to see that we don't have anything that happened like the Genesis. So that would be my comment. But I'm really interested. I don't know much about it. I heard some things about the company through the social media. But I'm here today to hear what he has to say.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right. All right. And, the next speaker that I have is John Allen.
Good afternoon, Commissioner. Sorry about the stir that I caused earlier by making the inquiry to the council. I respect every last one of you. I wouldn't want to do your jobs for all the money in the world. With that being said, I'm going to talk about line item 9, request for approval of resolution 7475 for landscaping between 5th Avenue and 9th. Like one of the previous speakers said, the details on this are a bit scant. We want to know, well, I would be curious as to how much is that contract for, if I'm previously able to ask that question.
Yeah, we're gonna keep the order to this. Because we're gonna table it. Yeah, table.
Just a guesstimate.
Well, again, our public comment is not a question and answer section, but I guess I
Request for
could.
approval, resolution 7487, resolution City of Gary redevelopment, awarding the demolition contract for Avatar. What property is that to be demolished?
In our overview, I think we're gonna say all of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
It is part of the agenda, and it's
I
given
do
us. I
apologize.
can't comment about the property if it's not here.
I apologize.
Resolution for approval 7488, resolution City of Gary Commission authorizing the demolition contract with JM. Which property is that? Maybe it's my property, and I don't know, and I can't say anything. Maybe it's my mom's house, and I don't know, and I can't say anything. That's what caused confusion with the young man earlier. He was very impatient, he was emotional, and he was disrespectful, but I don't really think he meant it. He got a letter, all he knows is a letter from you guys, he's a novice, he's not like Stephen Jenkins, Esquire, or myself, where we would understand what to do and ask for a hearing. And I feel for him, and I have empathy, because my due process was violated by a city agency, and I had to walk all the way to the Supreme Court and spend $250,000 of the taxpayers' money. So you guys can avoid that same mistake as those departments if we simply just list addresses. With that being said, my comments on the Palace Theater, I had an opportunity to read the project summary. And of course, since we're not answering questions, I won't ask what is a workforce unit. It's supposed to have 251 workforce units and affordable housing. To have an and, there's a distinction between the two. I don't know what a workforce unit is. I hope that we can answer that question tonight. Also notice that the potential budget for this project is $74 to $84 million. The annual city budget is only about $63 million. That sounds like a lot of money to put in the footprint of Palace Theater. However, as I go through the document, the footprint of the proposal at this stage, it does include more than just the Palace Theater. It includes the adjoining land directly to the north by that, currently held by Mr. Steve May. So maybe I could ask the developer, have they worked out deals with the surrounding properties that they include in the footprint, and was that extensive footprint given to the redevelopment board in advance so we can understand. My last question is, or issue, would be, are we spending any public money in that? Are we giving out tax abatements? Are they going to hold property in an LLC, a non-for-profit, or some sort of other instrument where they don't pay property taxes after we sell this property? How much does it cost to demolish? Maybe that's the logic in it being $2,000. We could have given it to them for free if the demolish bill is big enough because they want to build a property which we can generate revenue and have economic impact. These are things that need to be explained to the public so we don't have a social media frenzy. Or myself on my show, WLTH Radio, 1371, I'll be on tonight at 7 for those who want to listen. Thank you very much.
All right. The next speaker we have is Corey Armand. Is Corey here? Oh, okay, we got it, okay. All right. All right, the next speaker we have on the list is Jim Nowacki.
Oh, thank you, Commissioners.
All right, Mr. Nowacki, you know you have 3 minutes.
Huh?
You know you have 3 minutes.
I have 3 minutes, I'm the only one, but that's okay. Greetings, Commissioners. My name is Jim Nowacki. I'm a radio celebrity on WLTH Radio. Broadcasting live every Wednesday from 6 until 7. Issues and Answers show. We have issues, we have answers. Everybody can hear me on that radio. And I hope everyone can hear me at this meeting because this is a problem you may want to address at your next meeting. If you had a audio system, because this is a big room, this is like a theater. So you have to speak to the back seats if you want people to hear. Everyone over there having little secret comments and conversations. It just seems like if we're going to have a meeting, we have to start with an agenda. So when a member of the public complains, you're saying you have to speak on the agenda and nobody's been given an agenda, and then that member of the public who is a radio personality is accused of disrupting this meeting. I'm not disrupting this meeting. I'm asking for a crucial piece so that I can address this commission. Well, with that introduction completed, I just want to say everything here is fine. Since 1957, when this commission was organized through legislation that was passed in 1949, we've had an emphasis of demolition. And you guys have reached the pinnacle of that. Now we have 3 demolition contracts here. It's not as many as in most meetings, but it's right exactly where this commission wants to see this city completely demolished, 1 building at a time. We don't need notices. We don't need any particular issues. All we need is money that we can direct to demolishing contracts. Now I know that certain members of the public who come before you, who are going to praise you like I am, we can speak on and on and on and on. But people who want to be critical of you, they're obligated to use this agenda. But I think I'm real close to 3 minutes at this point.
You got another 40 seconds.
40 seconds, yeah. So I'll just complete by saying that later this evening I'll be on WLTH radio. That's 1370 AM. That's Jim Nowacki, radio personality. And we're going to be discussing the presidential election. But we may get a little side note on the Redevelopment Commission because it seems to have attracted more listeners than I have on the radio. So I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Mr. Moore.
The next speaker we have is Jackie Lee.
Thank you, I'm still there. I just want to know, was it the RFP on the palace? How many years they did on that, structure over there? And you all was asking us to, this is a book. Imagine it's a book. And then you asking us to tell you what's in the book. And we just see the front of it. We don't open it. That's what y'all just told us a few minutes ago. Did you understand that? This is a book.
That's a
and
flyer.
you asking us to make some type of acknowledgement on the book we haven't read, but we just see the cover. See, we wanted to be here to ask questions about the project. We can't ask questions about a project and we don't know what's about the project. What are they going to do? So you asking us to speak first when we should speak later. Real simple. You asking me to tell you about a book I haven't read. And I want to make it real simple to you all. We tired of you all not being transparent with us. And that's with the whole city. Everybody like everything's a secret around here. We tired of the secrets. We want to know. That's why we talk about things, because we want to know. Everything's a secret in here. But see, we calling y'all out. Ain't going to be no more secrets. That's why I'm here. We will have no more secrets. Because we tired of 50 years of secrets and we looking at our city look like it look. And everybody's so secretive and in the corner whispering. Just tell why you can bring the people up to make a presentation to us and then we ask them, is it a secret? Is the presentation a secret? You all want respect, but you don't get it. I've been asking you to respect the community. I'm a part of that community. I demand respect. Did y'all acknowledge the fact that y'all put that in writing, that y'all was having a session before this meeting? And the attorney, that's supposed to be in writing. And we got to deal with the same people on the same boards, and I'm sick of looking at it. Now, I'm sick of it. Because it's the same secret of people everywhere I go. The whole city is a big secret. But you want us to respect you. I can't respect nobody if they won't tell me something. Lie to me. Tell me something. But don't ask me to speak on something I don't know nothing about.
We're at 3 minutes.
Presentation. I'm talking on you because you're asking me. And I'm giving you the answer.
Okay. I'm just saying
To something I don't know.
I'm just saying we're at 3 minutes.
Okay, all right. The next speaker we have is Amelia Brown. Amelia Brown? Okay, all right. The next speaker we have on the list is Robert Buggs. Okay.
like everyone before you, you have 3 minutes, Mr. Bullets.
3 minutes?
Yes, 3 minutes, sir.
I was supposed to be wrong. That's cool. I heard more than 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Anyway, I heard that this afternoon there's been talking about the palace possible sale or demolition. Me being a G618 precinct commitment, I had vowed to get all of those commercial buildings on Broadway to find out who owns them and what's the status. This one is owned by the Redevelopment Commission. We're not paying taxes on it, so I just want to know what do you plan to do with this building? Because it's unfair to the citizens of Gary to be cited and the property demolished for some violation when this has been sitting there for at least 10 or 12 years and is owned by the city development. I got all of the past owners, all of the legal paperwork, so if anybody wants to see it, I would like to know what do you plan to do? Because it is an eyesore, it is dangerous, it's been there for over 10 years. No taxes being paid, non-charged. That's unfair to the citizens of Gary. And the other thing I just want to say before I sit down, usually at board meetings, the public is allowed to speak because of the public meeting as long as say for this example, the city redevelopment has purview or jurisdiction over the topic that you're speaking of. You can't just write down some number and say you have to stick to that because now you're infringing on the First Amendment right to speak at a public meeting that you advertise as a public meeting. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, then the last speaker I have, at least on this list, is Braden Wilson.
My name is Braden Wilson. I was coming to comment about the Palace Theater part, but some of the other residents, the same part about being able to hear first. But what I would like to say is, if the building, it'd be great to see the building rehabbed and see some Gary citizens working there. So hopefully it'll be in contract and it'll be a compliance officer there to make sure that if it goes forward, people will be able to make sure that those residents will have an opportunity to work. To see more buildings being done because it hasn't been a lot of building and redevelopment within the city limits. So it'd be great to be able to preserve some things and stay building forward. And everybody had a lot of good comments, so hopefully we'll get the right information that we'll need that we can build on moving forward.
Thank you. All right. Let's see. So that exhausts the list that I have of speakers. Were there any other speakers that may have walked in late that desire to speak on agenda items only or the Palace Theater? Okay.
Go on now to the presentation.
Okay. All right. So I will welcome Gary Hobbs with BWI LLC to discuss the Palace Theater. Before, as Gary prepares to make his way up for his presentation, I do want to share make several comments regarding the Palace and the process thus far. So first off, the project did go out in a formal RFP based on Indiana code. We provided 2 legal notices in our local periodicals regarding the sale of the Palace Theater and our the opportunity to dispose of the property to BWI LLC. We're actively in negotiations with BWI LLC in an effort to transfer the deed based on the sale. Now, understand that I think many residents were concerned about the price that BWI purchased or proposed to purchase the property for, the $2,500. Understand that we did have a professional appraisal conducted on the property, to which the property appraised for $1,000. Understand that the property has been vacant longer than it's been occupied. That property has been vacant for over 50 years. We have over almost 3 generations of Garyites that have not seen that building be active. We have not, unfortunately, over the 5-6 decades of disinvestment in our city and our downtown particularly, have we had the opportunity to have a comparable sale of a property of that size and that statute that negated to offer any higher than what the appraisal did. The very reason why that property is sat vacant for over 50 years, especially when you get beyond 10 years, not only do you have, roof issues, right? We have asbestos, we have lead paint. All of that needs to be abated before any portion of the structure could be demolished, before anything could be utilized, right? You have to have the asbestos and hazardous material abatement conducted on the property, which reduces the value of the structure. So, as we get on, beyond 10 to 15 years of blight of that structure itself, then it just becomes virtually unusable. We've had scrappers over the decades that have wreaked havoc on the structure, and unfortunately, in many interior architectural values and aesthetics that we've had, they've been scrapped over time to the point that it's just, unfortunately, the shell is hollowed out. I'm a Gary grassroots historian myself. It was very disheartening to see the state of the structure. I know that there are many positive memories of the palace. My great-great-grandparents moved here to Gary in 1918. We have a long history here in understanding the positive memories that our family experienced, and seeing the structure in its state is disheartening. But what I am appreciative about for everyone being here is that it shares that you care about downtown Gary, right? I think that beside, whatever criticism, whatever concern there is, we all have a common thread that we all care about Gary, and we care about the direction of our downtown. The Genesis Convention Center, that has not gone beyond me, right? I've seen that structure. I've had positive memories. The Genesis Center. The Genesis Center for my generation was Memorial Auditorium, right? So for 4 years, that structure sat there, wide open, vacant, vandalized. And we had the opportunity, in my position, to be able to secure that structure to stop the vandals from breaking inside and showing ruin porn, regarding our city's downtown and making a mockery of us, right? But we're all collectively here at a special moment in time in the city's history that we're ready to turn the corner. We're all in an uncomfortable space because the market conditions have aligned itself that downtown Gary is valuable when it comes to development opportunities. We understanding where we are, understanding that if we're developing our downtown core with Senate Bill 434, we're going to have some significant demolitions that we're going to need to take place in the downtown to make development amenable to those, on a national scale and on a local scale. There are going to be some uncomfortable conversations about structures that are going to need to come down. I'm going to unfortunately guarantee you that. But we're working collectively with entities to establish design standards to make sure that when we develop our city moving forward, we're doing it in a way that respects our architectural history and aesthetic. I liken our city to Warsaw, Poland, and many European cities after World War II. We've experienced economic isolation, desolation, we've been ignored, and we've lost many beautiful structures over the decades. With the Palace Theater and this opportunity that we have the opportunity to adaptively reuse a portion of the structure, what we see every day on Broadway and 8th Avenue. What many people don't realize is there are 2 structures associated with the Palace. You have what you see on Broadway and 8th Avenue, which is like the street wall, and then you have the movie house immediately behind what we see on Broadway and 8th Avenue. We have the ability, with this minority developer, a trusted minority developer from Indianapolis, to help us create this catalytic opportunity for downtown Gary. I understand, me as a Garyite, that we're tired of hearing about plans, we're tired of hearing about, studies. We want to see action happen. Before we had the opportunity to engage, with this developer, right, and before we were approached by how can this developer help us with a catalytic development in downtown Gary, we have a Vision for Broadway plan that we had applied for a grant for in 2008, 2009. Our residents at the time had taken time and stakeholder feedback amongst our communities, or amongst our community constituents, that they wanted to see the Palace Theater be readapted into an opportunity to have entertainment and living space on the 8th Avenue Broadway corridor. You can look up the Vision for Broadway plan. It's available online. It was done by the American Planners Association. And again, it was a very focal point of what the 8th Avenue and Broadway corridor could be, and that was like live arts and entertainment. So, when we fast forward to 2015, we had the Livable Broadway plan, another plan that encouraged density along the Broadway corridor, because if we want the businesses that we had in the past, we have to have people. Unfortunately, for situations just like what you're concerned about with GUIA completely hampered the Emerson neighborhood and really encouraged more people to leave. And now if we want businesses on Broadway to contribute to our tax base, we need residents in a concentrated area. We're doing no different than what the city of Cleveland has done with concentrating density in the downtown core. And that's what our presenter Gary is going to be able to share. What we're negotiating with about how we make this very impactful, not only from an economic development opportunity for downtown, but also from a workforce perspective, because we want our Gary residents to be able to participate in the rebuilding of our city, right? But understanding the PTSD that we've experienced over here at One Genesis Center Plaza, I totally get it. And that's why I don't take it personal, because I know that deep down we're all passionate about Gary. We want to see Gary move forward. But I want the public to be able to give an opportunity to hear the presenter, be able to speak about what this project is going to be, what it means, and as we actively negotiate to get the best opportunity for the city of Gary, I just want you to be able to just keep that in mind. It was all in good intention to arrange the meeting that we can address some of the public comments that were circulating on social media, on the airwaves, about concerns about the project, and just be able to state that in hopes that the presenter could then address it during the presentation. But if that did not get across, I apologize, but it's the intention that we all collectively, chart this new path for downtown Gary collectively. So I'm gonna stop speaking because I know that everyone is very anxious to hear Mr. Hobbs and learn more about BWI, learn more about their experience, their past. They're a credible developer. Again, I think that there were some concerns about a development project that mentioned salt box houses and whatnot in 2020, and Mr. Hobbs is here to be able to explain that situation, but explain all the successful projects that they've conducted in the past. So, Mr. Hobbs, I'm going to turn it over to you. Oh, sure, okay, sorry. George, we're in the way of the TV.
Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gary Hobbs, and I'm the president and CEO of BWI. We are minority-owned, full-service development shop based in Indianapolis, but we've done work throughout the state and the Midwest. Thank you. I'll speak up a little louder. And you guys, it's really a privilege and an honor, really, from my perspective, just to be able to have an opportunity to be a part
here of the change here that's happening here within Gary. Look, I'm a believer here in the leadership. I'm a believer in the community here as well. And I'm personally excited to see so much interest here in the Palace Loft Theater project. So really for me, I just came, because I'm similar to you, I wasn't really sure exactly what to expect. But I just wanted to, I put together a little short presentation just to share a little bit about BWI, what we've done. I also want to address, I guess, the article on the Canal Village project. I want to make sure you guys understand the facts on that. And then we can also then talk a little bit about where we are within the development process here for the Palace Theater opportunity. And I'll let you know early on, we are very early. And part of our development process is to listen, garner feedback, adapt, and have the development concepts evolve based on more and more community input. All right, so with that said, let me just jump right into it, talk a little bit about BWI, and by the way, I'm always open for any other questions or comments. You know, this development process is a very lengthy process, so, you know, you're not gonna see any new building come up for a minute, right? Because there's a lengthy development process, an architectural design process, and community input process that we're just beginning to go through. So BWI, we're a full service shop. And so we do development, that means raising capital. In this case here for Palace Theater, about $80 million worth of capital that we'll raise. We'll put some of our own money into the deal as well, because we believe here in the leadership and the vision here that the city is going. We do property management for ourselves and some third party. We have a construction management arm as well. So we'll act as a general contractor. In many cases, we'll joint venture and partner with general contractors as well. And we're a firm believer here in working here with minority contractors and subcontractors and vendors as well. So as a minority myself, you guys, you know, I'm willing to, you know, agree to community benefit agreements or whatever when it involves making a change and an impact here to the local workforce. And we do things that other developers don't even do that I'll talk more about later. In terms of how we engage and involve our youth, not just only local minority contractors, but even if it's a majority contractor, in encouraging them to utilize workers in the community. So we go a bit above and beyond, I would say, the basic general requirements. So we, you know, there's a passion behind what we do. You know, BWI, we focus here on that workforce housing. We focus here, specialize here in developing in communities that really want to go to the next level. We've kind of mastered the process here, really attracting ourselves in communities that are right there on that brink, if you will, of major change and a lot of interest, a lot of good community support behind it. And we like to come in and kind of help with our expertise to kind of push those communities over the hump. And so we're excited. We have a good track record in doing that. We're excited to be a part of that kind of revolution, if you will, that I sense and feel, I think many of you do as well, with the leadership that we have here within the city. Some really good things that are going to be happening here in Gary. And so we love to get in early. So housing, workforce housing, affordable housing, market rate housing, all those are part of our purview. But what we also specialize in is, look, it's more than just the brick and the mortar. How do we improve the quality of life, not only for the tenants or the residents, and we call them our neighbors, but how do we improve the quality of life of the surrounding community as well, and be a part of this downtown revolution. And when necessary, you know, look at supportive services, not just for the residents you got, but you know, how can we influence supportive services around things some gentlemen mentioned here with our youth, getting them involved and engaged in some form or fashion here with the project as well. So our ability to work with various other nonprofits and engaging them in the design and the overall solution, if you will, what we're bringing, that's what we like to do, which is a little bit unique. I just want to share a few projects for you guys, and not to certainly pat ourselves on the back. BWI, we've been around since 2005. So we've done quite a few projects. And I'll just share just a few with our construction department. We built, I'm part of the construction management team for the Purdue STEM building. I'm a board maker myself, right? So it was a $55 million project that we had the privilege of successfully providing construction management services. This project right here from Market Rate Bill, downtown Indianapolis, 100 units, is under construction right now. So if you're ever downtown, swing by, you can see one of our projects under construction. We got the podium and the still in already. I'd like to bring this one up because it's a similar vision for Broadway Palace, the Palace Lawn project that we're looking at. There'll be some podium, concrete steel podium, first level, and then building apartments above. So a very similar type of concept that we're parking below and some commercial spaces as well we'll talk a little bit more about. And then building apartments up above. So I'm not an architect, so we like to work with architects to help paint the vision here that's not only coming from us, but with input from the community as well. So this project will be done about this time next year. We'll start leasing up in January. And by the way, this is about a $26 million project. Another one here that I'm personally proud of is this one here. It's a single parent student housing project. The first one of its kind here in Indiana. And there's 44 families, single parent families, but here's the interesting thing about them. They're all are enrolled in college or trying to get a certification to break that cycle of poverty. I used to be a single parent. Right, my current wife saved me. So as far as saved my kids from eating canned green beans and everything else, but I know how difficult it was for a few years with me raising my two kids solo, family out of town, different state. So I understand that. I have a heart and passion for single parents, just so you know my heart. And so when we're able to develop this building, it's completely full, has a 400 kilowatt solar array on it, so it's a net zero application, platinum LEED certified. I know there was a young lady in here earlier that, there you are in back, who was interested in with environmental kind of concerns and so forth. And so with the net zero application, and the design approach that allowed us to be extremely energy efficient, save on utility bills for our residents and so forth, that has a special place in my heart. So, but anyway, great project here as well, up and running, very successful. Here's a mixed income, mixed use project, in which, we think this kind of business model makes a lot of sense as well, where there's affordable and market rate. You hear a lot of terms, workforce housing as well, so this would qualify for that as well. And something similar that we're thinking about here for Broadway Lost. Mixed income, mixed use, workforce housing kind of concept here where we can bring in folks from all kind of different backgrounds and really put systems in place and programming in place here to really help improve that quality of life. So in this one we added some local art, I'm talking about the process of how we gather input. I wouldn't come up, you can't quite see it up on here, but it's a really nice, cool piece of art. Certainly didn't come from me, but it started there with input from the community. Hey, we'd like to see something like this, and we put a bid here, RFI there for local artists, and they came up with ideas, and we voted on it as a little community group and chose this and implemented it. And I want to share that because of the input part, you guys. I hear you, ma'am, and many others wanting the input and transparency. To me, that's something here that I'm eager to help facilitate, right? I really do want that. And there's a balance, there's a skill to how you listen and gather input, keep things kind of moving forward. And there will be appropriate time and place here for us to be able to do that collectively together. And so I want to make sure that you guys know, hey, this is an ongoing thing for those who are interested. I want to make sure I know who you are so we can engage you at the right time in that design input process. Okay? This project right here was about a $15 million project there as well. We're not proposing this concept here, but permanent supportive housing is housing there for the homeless, and so we just want to make sure you guys know that we've done that type of work as well, even though we're not proposing that product type here in Gary. Here's another mixed-use senior deal. It's all seniors. We were, creative and innovative in this regards, and just so you know a little bit about me, I have 3 patents, you guys. So I'm always this kind of creative kind of thinker, and I'm an electrical engineer by background with an MBA in finance, and so I'm always kind of creative in terms of how do we solve problems, and we solved the problem with parking by having the skywalk connect the 2 buildings. 57 units are for seniors. Very successful deal there as well, and then a health clinic used to be there on the other side. We get another tenant in here in another few months. The last one I want to share here with you guys is the Wigwam, which is in Anderson. This is about a $100 million project, broken up into multiple phases. What you see over here is the actual Wigwam gymnasium, which sits about 10,000 people. We have Jane Holly Health Clinic in here. Our first phase was over here on your far left. That's a 44-unit apartment complex, nice little pool retaining pond. This is an affordable assisted living facility. Big need that's been built. We're leasing up that project as we speak. And you can't see it yet, but we're starting to choreograph out another apartment project right next here to the Wigwam. So it was a strategy with a lot of input here from the community. We've been developing that one in phases, very successful project, and still we'll be working on the very last phase on the actual gymnasium portion of itself. So a lot of cool things are happening on that project, and you can see here some of the concepts, above and beyond sports and culinary center, visual arts performing center. It's really us involving a lot of other players. And that's the key thing I want to make sure you get out of here. It's just not us and my team of 30, 2 employees doing it all by ourselves, but it's how we engage. And I'm a really big fan of project management concepts and stakeholder management, how we engage others and community is what makes our projects a success. What I want to do here real briefly before I jump over to talking a little bit here about Palace loss and where we are in that process, I want to talk just briefly here about the article that I think was being referenced a lot, you guys, and I'll give you the short story on it. Number one, I'm man enough to admit when I've made mistakes, and I did make a mistake. And the community today, we're good, right? There's no animosity with the key folks in that particular community. And the mistake that I made was poor communication during COVID. Here's the reality. There were about 5, we're talking about being transparent. I had 5 different input sessions here with the community, everything going great before COVID. Some people didn't show up at every single one of these input sessions, right? The thing that they were just ultimately upset about was a flat roof, which was part of the design, the third, fourth, and fifth one, if you will, and some of the setbacks, which was driven by the city, but people didn't know that. Bottom line is, the mistake that I made, I wish I could have done it over, was during the process of those 5 input sessions, like I said before, the last 3 of them, we're gonna go with the shipping container solution, really kind of creative, that's me, right? And it was a flat roof, and it had a little wraparound, cool-looking wraparound porch, you guys, and I loved it. People at the very first session, it wasn't a flat roof. Input, second, third, fourth, fifth, flat roof. I personally like flat roofs. Some people do, some people don't. No big deal. What ended up being built 2 years later did not look like any one of those 5. Similar, but not exactly like that. The community, some folks in the community that had a really good, I just had to apologize to them, you guys. The key was the very last one to what's being out there today, where the article kind of centered around. I was sick, brother died with COVID, best friend died with COVID. I'm fighting for my life. Border shut down, the shipping container company that we're using was in Canada. Border got shut down. Lumber prices went up 4 times, and some of you in construction know what I mean. We were behind on schedule. These tax credit deals, you get hit with what they call late fees or adjusters. We're getting walloped every single month of delays, and I made the decision without engaging the community or the neighborhood leadership. Without engaging them, I made a decision that I own up to and apologize, feel bad about it, that I did not reach out to them for input on the design. What I told my architect was, hey, we can't use the shipping containers. We're going to stick build these, go through it and update the design and keep it as close as you can to the original. Because I tried to avoid community issues. That's just fact. And so in the effort of that, you guys, bottom line, at the end of the day, there were some things that we couldn't do, like the cool wraparound porches, and that's probably the biggest one I personally liked. We had to knock those off because they required a variance. And I did not want to waste another 2, 3, 4 months of trying to go through a city process where nobody was working in the city offices, didn't know who to talk to in the community, and I made the executive decision on that. And it wasn't communicated. Hindsight, that was wrong. So I'm okay with admitting that. Now, the other fact of the matter is, it's 37 homes, you guys, and every single one of those families, 95% are single parent families, they love their homes. Silver LEED, NGBS Silver qualified, quality built homes, they all love them. And the reason I know, because we did a survey with them, all love their homes. 2 or 3 people in the community, because we all know how that is, didn't like it, but they don't live in the homes. They didn't like it for whatever reason, never got a hold of me or talked to me early on. Now we've got great conversation, communication now. And I want to say this because it's so important, you guys. At the end of the day, with each of you, I love you, young brother, what you said, everybody what you said up here. The root of issues and problems that we face as a community centers around poor communication. And I'll be honest with you, this is a lot of money that we are investing, a lot of folks or other folks are investing in an $80 million project. I want it to be successful. And I genuinely believe every single one of you want this thing to be successful. And part of the success criteria is communication. And so I want to encourage you guys to be a part of just not what we're going to end up building, because we know how to do that. Been there, done this thing for almost 20 years. So got it, understand it, know what it takes. But for me, the other part of it, for me, is the process of how we get there. Okay, and I want this to be an open, engaging, respectful process, you guys, and how we employ people from the community and how we engage each other. To me, the success is just not getting done on time and on budget. The success is seeing some of your brothers and sisters and nephews and nieces, have a part in this somehow or some way. If they're not part of working there, you know what we do? All of our projects, we host high school and middle school students to come in, we're about 70, 80% done, walk through. As a developer owner, look, I tell all of my workers, subcontractors to attorneys, engineers, and architects, show up, because one of these young kids may relate to you and may want to be like you one day, may want to be an architect, may want to be an attorney, may want to be an engineer or electrician or a plumber. It doesn't matter. They're all respectable jobs. Show up, we do that, engage our youth. And I do that, why? Because that's what happened to me as a young kid. That's the reason I'm an engineer, electrical engineer today, because my dad was a mailman. Mom stayed at home. And I was exposed to somebody who took the time to let me know what they did, and that had an impact on me as a kid. That's who I am, you guys. And I'm hoping that type of mentality that type of belief resonates with all of you. I really do. That's who I am. I'm not your traditional developer who's only in it for the money. I fundamentally believe that you can have purpose and do good, and you can make money, right? We're not going to make as much money as my colleagues do on just pure market rate deals and could care less about community and people. I'm cool with that. I'm absolutely cool with that, because for me, I know I can go to sleep knowing that I made an impact or try to make an impact in the communities that we develop in. Let's shift over and we'll wrap up here with kind of where we are on the Palace Loft apartment. So, part of our design process is an iterative process. And part of it is just lessons learned. Don't go in and do full-blown drawings and renderings before you've gotten input from various stakeholders, okay? So it's an evolutionary process. So yeah, we've done the high-level analysis and say, hey, here's kind of, in general, what we're kind of looking at. We call this the massing phase of our conceptual drawings, okay? How many stories, how many units, parking. We know that we want to have some visual all the way through downtown, leave this little space you can quite see open. So it's a nice little look all the way through the town where the alley portion of it is. We know we want to keep this facade area yellow to kind of respect the history, if you will. And we know we want to bring in some density. So we got 251 apartments. And we call them workforce housing because they're, the average median income is going to be between that 60 and probably 100, 120 AMI, average median income. So we want to make it work for teachers, lawyers, and maybe lawyers, maybe it depends on where they work, how much they make. Teachers, firefighters, police officers, and so we think it's important to have that mixed kind of income. We're not offering, we don't have units for what we call very low income folks. I mean, there's other apartments, I think Broadway Lofts, and maybe there's other ones. I'm not knocking those because we've done those in the past. But like 30% AMI and below, these units are not target for that. So it is what it is, right? But, saying that, I want to make sure that as you're hearing that, there's no disrespect by any means to folks that are at that particular income level. But we're strategically trying to attract youth professionals to come and be a part of this whole downtown revitalization. Okay. Then the last one is kind of this visual, just to let you guys know that we're going to try to respect, or we will, not just try, we will respect the history. So that first level space, we've had a lot of conversation around having that be some nice event center, restaurant, a major attraction point there for current folks who live in Gary, as well as visitors coming in here as well. So there's still input that we're still open to receiving from folks. You got ideas around that piece. We're very much open to that. We're looking to potentially raise money, what they call new market tax credits, to kind of help offset some of that cost as well. But the main thing here is to make that kind of commercial space on the fourth floor attractive to some business. And I want it to be a local Gary business, right? Somebody you know that has a vision for some high-end, nice restaurant, steak, whatever it is. I say steak because I love steak, but I'll deal with seafood as well. But just something that's nice that we can call our own here in Gary and really represent the tradition, the history in that restaurant, and then the rest of the event space that we're looking to continue to plan out. So anyway, I want to pause there and Chris, and hand it over back to you, see if you want to entertain, or you want me to entertain any questions or not.
Sure, yeah. It's up to you how comfortable you feel, Gary. I think maybe for the sake of time, because I know that I know this is a feature, and I know that this is something that the public has expressed, if you'd be open to maybe 15 minutes of questions, and try to limit it to maybe 2 maybe like a minute, 2 minutes per question so we can get as many questions answered as possible. Okay, so.
Before you
Yeah,
go forward,
yeah.
what I would ask you is, I'm a city councilman, and Gary, would you be willing to come back in a month or so to have a public forum, maybe at the Gary Public Library, which is downtown? I could work with the administration, and we can host you to come back, and it would strictly be for you to do your presentation first, and then to engage any kind of questions from the public. That gives you more time to bring other people down. We work with the administration, and we could have a full-blown forum strictly only on the Palace Theater.
That would be awesome. Yeah, I would love to do that. Absolutely.
Our chief public relations officer is here, so I'll talk to her afterwards.
Sure. I see we have a question from the press. Would you be open for that? So, Joe?
What was the amount of investment, how many housing units, and what will you preserve?
Can you repeat that question? For the,
What's the exact amount of investment you're looking at? How many housing units is it, and then what will you preserve?
yeah, right, as of today, it's 251 units, combination of 1 and 2 bedrooms. In terms of the number of units, so it's going to be mostly new construction behind what you see here. This building right here, there will be apartment units above the first floor. I don't have that number memorized right now, but we're going to convert the units above the first floor. Those will be apartment units. Okay.
What was the investment, and what are you looking to preserve?
It's an $80 million total investment. And when you say preserve,
The reuse portion.
Yeah, if you want to show that.
yeah, the part that's preserved would be this part right here in the yellow.
So in general, the effort and the intent is what we see on Broadway and 8th Avenue.
Yeah.
The movie house would be up for demolition.
Yeah. The part on Broadway, a little bit on 8th Street, I believe.
Is the overall vision for this to be the anchor for an entertainment center? Or what's the thinking around putting the housing there? And this is going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks on the entertainment center? What's the thinking?
Sure.
Vision?
Yep, so based on the Vision for Broadway plan that we did as a city in 2009, right, we already exhausted those at that time, right, of getting the stakeholder input. The vision was creating an entertainment space, right, but not the Palace Theater solely being that space. It would be mixed use. So we've engaged and we're working in negotiations with the developer about what can we reserve on the ground level for entertainment space to help anchor this 8th Avenue and Broadway intersection. So
that's what I'm thinking was around the restaurants, and we've got the double track going to Chicago coming through. All that has to kind of link together. So when we have a big meeting, I'll be able to kind of address that. But I'm kind of seeing where you're going. You know, I just, it's kind of piecemeal, but I see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very good.
John.
I noticed just north of there is another structure there. Then after that is the Broadway Lofts, am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so you guys acquired another structure yet? That's not a
Yeah, this structure right here, yes, it would be a part of the overall
Have you
project.
acquired it yet?
The development has not acquired it yet.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay.
Would you be holding the property in a non-for-profit, or would it be property taxes being paid?
There'll be property, that's an excellent question, there will be property taxes paid.
It'll be property taxes
Yes, it won't be a nonprofit.
Yeah, and I definitely want to emphasize that. Thank you, John, for that question. We need tax revenue in the core of downtown Gary. You know, so long, even on the Broadway corridor, there are not-for-profit organizations, some churches, right, that are tax exempt and they don't generate revenue. In this area of our city, our downtown is supposed to generate the most tax revenue per acre, right? That's why we have the density, right? It's zoned for density. And because it's zoned for density, that's where we can really generate the most tax revenue per acre. So that's definitely the intention for this project, to be able to generate tax revenue for downtown. Jackie, you have a question?
So how long do you think that you can generate these revenues to complete this project?
How long will it take
How long will it take?
to complete the project?
To generate the revenue, because you said you had.
Oh, to generate the capital.
Yeah.
We're hoping that we'll have the capital stack solved here before the end of the year. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, conversations have started, and there's a lot of folks that also believe in the leadership and the vision here at Gary. So I'm not too concerned that we won't be able to have that raised by the end of the year. And we'll just communicate to you guys, at that time, we either gonna be successful in getting it or not. We have a plan B on how to continue to raise the dollars, but it's in the works.
So you have a plan on how you're gonna, people you're gonna talk to?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that process has just started. Great question.
And just to piggyback off of that, because of understanding transparency and maybe the lack thereof that we've experienced at One Genesis Center Plaza, it was the intention to work with the developer to be able to have public forums quarterly to keep up with the progress so the public knows. It's like, hey, what's happening? We can have the opportunity to have the developer come back periodically on a quarterly basis to track the progress and monitor where we're going. So that's the intention moving forward for a lot of our major development projects, that we want to make sure that people understand what the progress is, as opposed to hearing during our public meetings, this property was disposed of, and then it just goes into a vacuum and you don't know what happens. It's our goal to be able to keep the public engaged moving forward.
So would the investors be, we know the investors coming in to invest in
I mean, you will certainly you will know I would say more of the public kind of funding that's made available to the public. Some investors are private, and I don't know if they will want to share their personal name, but if they want to, I don't have a problem with personal.
All right, two more questions. I'll go to Carolyn and then go to you, Tony. Carolyn?
Yes, Mr. Huff, will you be asking for tax breaks for the project?
That is a great question. We have not ruled that out. And so, but even if we did, it wouldn't be a full tax break. It may be something partial to make sure that we can get it over the hump. So yeah, I would not rule that out by any means, absolutely. And of course, if we do, that's public, transparent kind of process if we do that. But great question.
Would you be willing to work with the Redevelopment Commission on some type of site agreement, control agreement for the site, and not close on this deal yet until you get further down the road before they deed you the property? Would you be willing to work like something like that if the commission came up with something like that for you?
Yeah, I mean, timing for some of the funding sources is key. And so, yeah, there's some things that I would say, am I willing to work with like a community business?
Yeah, like
a community benefit agreement? Absolutely.
Well,
I would say I don't know if it has to. I would not want to delay the rest of the process working on that. I think that could all concurrently. And so I'm okay with fallbacks and things like that if we don't do something here that we all agree to that should be done for the community. But I don't think that needs to hold up the next step in the process based on other funding deadlines and so forth that we have. But great question. I just want to be transparent with you.
All right, so we're going to round out our questions. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate your time. Thank you for coming to speak to the public about the project.
So what would make this project fall through that's out of your control? Because we're seeing this happen.
Yeah.
I just want to ask this question, I know it's.
Yeah.
But what would happen to make this project fall through?
At the end of the day, projects like this, almost any kind of real estate project, they fall through because of either you can't get all the necessary funding required. And then there's a lot of reasons for that. Marketability, I mean, there's a lot of pieces that tie into community support, city support. Me and other investors. Yes.
Can we sell it? That's basically.
So this is a long-term hold. This is not a build and sell it project. That's a great question. This is not a build and sell. This is a build and hold long-term, for sure. And so we have a vested interest in making that part happen. But that's usually where they fall apart, or some other COVID happens and prices go up 3-4 times and throws it out of balance, or interest rates, do something stupid and, quadruple or whatever, I mean, those are some of the reasons that would be out of our control. All right, thanks, and good question.
That was a great presentation.
Thank you.
I gotta get to my radio show.
I'll make note. Administration, you must better just.
Oh.
Yeah, they do have whitefishes in the
Let's try to get through the rest of it. And where are we?
74, 74.
Number 9? No, 74, 74. Okay, number 8. Request for approval of resolution number 74, a resolution of the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission authorizing the execution of professional services contract with Urban 3. Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Commissioner Rogi. I am asking that we table Resolution 7474.
So board, executive director has. Second.
So moved.
Did the first.
Yep.
Did you get that?
Was that Mr. Stallings? I'm sorry.
Mr. Watson.
Clemens? And then who seconded?
Second. I so moved.
Oh, you,
Second.
okay, thank you.
Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Chambers.
Yes.
Commissioner Clemens.
Yes.
Commissioner Stallings.
Yes.
Commissioner Washington.
Yes.
President Rogi.
Yes.
5 ayes, the ayes have it.
All right. Number 9, request for approval of resolution number 7475, a resolution of the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission authorizing the execution of a professional services contract with Hubinger Landscaping Corporation to perform beautification along Broadway from 5th Avenue to 9th Avenue in Gary, Indiana. Overview, Mr. Harris.
Sure, thank you, Commissioner Rogi. I am asking that the commission, really, vote no. I'm asking for the commission to table 7475.
Make a motion that we table resolution number 7475.
Second.
Moved in second, and roll call.
Commissioner Chambers.
Yes.
Commissioner Clemens.
Yes.
Commissioner Stallings.
Yes.
Commissioner Washington.
Yes.
President Rogi.
Yes.
5 ayes, the ayes have it.
All right. Number 10, resolution for approval of resolution number 7486, a resolution of the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission approving the memorandum of agreement between the City of Gary, Board of Public Works and Safety, and the Redevelopment Commission.
Okay.
Mr. Harris.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Rogi. The City of Gary, through its Public Board of Works and Safety, has means to procure contractors capable of performing and providing lawn maintenance services. The City of Gary Redevelopment Commission is willing to provide funding to the City of Gary to manage lawn maintenance for selected properties owned by the Commission. Both the City and the Commission desire to enter into a memorandum of agreement to establish a framework of mutual coordination with the city's lawn maintenance efforts for the remainder of the 2024 season. This would be an amount of $200,000. I now ask that the Commissioners authorize the execution of the MOA agreement between the City of Gary and the Commission.
move for the passage of the approval of resolution number 7486.
Second.
Well, there's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Chambers?
Yes.
Commissioner Clemens? Yes. Commissioner Stalling?
Yes.
Commissioner Washington?
Yes.
And President Rogi?
Yes. And,
5 ayes, the ayes have it.
sorry. Number 11, request for approval of resolution number 7487, a resolution of the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission awarding and authorizing a demolition contract with Avatar.
Thank you, Commissioner Rogi. The City of Gary Redevelopment Commission staff followed demolition procurement procedures, sending quotes to multiple contractors for the demolition of the property located at 374 Roosevelt Street. Avatar was the lowest bidder with a quote of $9,300. The Commission now wishes to enter into a contract with Avatar to demolish a property located at 374 Roosevelt Street in Gary, Indiana. I now request that the Commission authorize myself and Commission Attorney to finalize and execute the demolition contract with Avatar for the demolition work to be performed at 374 Roosevelt Street, Gary, Indiana.
Okay.
Motion to approve resolution 7487.
Second.
Well, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? And roll call.
Commissioner Chambers?
Yes.
Commissioner Clemens?
Yes.
Commissioner Stalling?
Yes.
Commissioner Washington?
Yes.
And President Rogi?
Yes.
5 ayes, the motion is passed.
Number 12, request for approval of resolution number 7488, a resolution of the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission awarding and authorizing a demolition contract with JM.
Thank you, Commissioner Rogi. The City of Gary Redevelopment Commission staff followed demolition procurement procedures, sending quotes to multiple contractors for the demolition of the property located at 360 through 94 Mount Street. JM LLC was the lowest bidder with a quote of $60,000. The Commission now wishes to enter into a contract with JM to demolish property located at 360 through 94 Mount Street, Gary, Indiana. We now wish that the Redevelopment Commission commissioners authorize myself and the Commission Attorney to finalize and execute the demolition contract with J&M for the demolition work to be performed at 360 through 94 Mount Street, Gary, Indiana.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Discussion. And roll call.
Commissioner Chambers?
Yes.
Commissioner Clemens?
Abstain.
Commissioner Stalling?
Yes.
Commissioner Washington?
Abstention.
President Rogi?
Yes.
The vote is 3 ayes, 2 abstentions. Motion passes.
All right. 13, request for approval of resolution number 7489, a resolution of the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission authorizing the ratification of a professional services contract with American Eagle Security to provide remote security services at various locations owned by the Redevelopment Commission. Sheriff.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Rogi. The Board of Redevelopment Commissioners of the City of Gary Department of Redevelopment has determined that American Eagle Security is the best contractor to provide security services to the Commission. The Commission desires to renew American Eagle's contract from calendar year 2023, an additional term for 1 year beginning retroactively January 1st, 2024 and ending December 31st, 2024. We now request the Board of Redevelopment Commissioners to authorize the ratification of the contract between the Commission and American Eagle for the year 2024.
I move for the approval of resolution number 7489.
Second.
Moved and second. So let's go with roll call.
Commissioner Chambers?
Yes.
Commissioner Clemens?
Yes.
Commissioner Stalling?
Yes.
Commissioner Washington?
Yes.
And President Rogi?
Yes.
Motion is passed.
All right. Number 14, request for approval of resolution number 7490, a resolution of the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission awarding and authorizing a demolition contract with Avatar.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Rogi. The City of Gary Redevelopment Commission staff followed demolition procurement procedures, sending quotes to multiple contractors for the demolition of property located at 411 Mount Street. Avatar was the lowest bidder with a quote of $7,500. The commission now wishes to enter into a contract with Avatar to demolish a property located at 411 Mount Street in Gary, Indiana. We now request the Redevelopment Commission authorizes myself and the commission attorney to finalize and execute a demolition contract with Avatar for the demolition work to be performed at 411 Mount Street in Gary, Indiana.
So moved, Chairman.
Second.
Further second, and roll call.
Commissioner Chambers.
Yes.
Commissioner Clemens.
Yes.
Commissioner Stalling.
Yes.
Commissioner Washington.
Yes.
President Rogi.
Yes.
Vote for 5 ayes, the motion is passed.
Okay, director's comments.
Wait a minute, Mr. Chairman. I make a motion for approval to make LaJuan Clemens Vice President of the Gary Redevelopment Commission.
Okay,
That was put on the agenda. Remember you changed the agenda to put that on for the voting of a vice president?
that's okay. You made a motion, fine.
Is there a second?
Now what? Who's gonna second it?
I second.
Very good. Any other nominations? Okay, there being none, and roll call.
Commissioner Chambers.
Yes.
Commissioner Clemens.
Yes.
Commissioner Stalling.
Yes.
Commissioner Washington.
Yes.
And President Rogi.
Yes,
The motion is passed.
okay,
Congratulations, Mr. Vice President.
yes. So now we're back to director's comments.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. So here I have several updates that I would like to share with the public. First, I have the pleasure to introduce our new Deputy Director of the Redevelopment Department, Erica Tyler, here with us here today. Definitely excited to have her here, a part of our team. Was that Taylor? Tyler. Definitely excited to have her here. Erica comes with a wealth of accounting experience that is definitely much appreciated and welcome. So I'm definitely happy to have her on our team. Understanding we've made some structural changes in our department. I've been short-staffed for quite some time, and so we're definitely welcome to have Erica here on this team. So I wanted to at least allow the public to understand and introduce her in this meeting. Next, I wanted to have the opportunity to talk about an item that we had on our agenda last week regarding Fulcrum. I know that there was a group, GARD, that brought that to public comment. Understand that we attempted to close on the property with Fulcrum, honoring our option agreement that our commission had signed with Fulcrum. Oh, sorry. Okay. All right. So I wanted to share that we did attempt to close with Fulcrum on the 6200 Industrial Boulevard on May 6th. Fulcrum was not able to close based on the option agreement that we were in agreement with Fulcrum. Therefore, we are waiting for the rescission execution for us to be able to move forward on the property. So they could not close on the property. We're waiting on them to sign the rescission clause so we can move forward on the property. So again, they were not able to close in May 6th. We've been working to figure out how we move forward in a way that is mutually beneficial to both parties, so we can redevelop the city. So understand that until we get our rescission clause, we have the ability to rescind resolutions that we've made as a commission so we can move forward in redeveloping that property and have it move forward in a different future. I understand that, there's been some press regarding Fulcrum and Bluebird, and we're just waiting to hear back from that entity so they can execute their rescission clause and we can move forward. So when we receive that rescission clause executed, we're able to conduct business accordingly. Then moving on to the Palace, again, wanting to explain to the public that we will have FAQs available for everyone to understand not only how the process or how the property was disposed, but giving general FAQs about the project in general. And we're going to be working with BWI to be able to provide that presentation they had shared with us so we can share that with the public and the public can understand what projects BWI has executed in the past. But again, understanding that we're in a very critical time in downtown Gary. There's a lot of positive goodwill behind downtown Gary. There are a lot of entities and agencies that desire to help us, right? So we really want to be able to move forward in an expeditious fashion and not lose out on opportunities. And this is an exciting time for our commission. So I just wanted to be able to share that information with the public and understand that if you have any questions regarding our process, you feel free to reach out to myself or our communications director, Erica Blackwell. But again, we're very positive and we're very excited for this opportunity. And that's all I have to say.
Okay. Commissioners, comments? Okay. School board representative?
I'm back.
Okay.
But I just want to say, and I'm sure everyone has heard, that effective July 1st, Gary Community Schools returns to local control. And so we're definitely looking forward to that. We're going to need your help and your assistance, but we're definitely looking forward to that.
Agenda items for the next board meeting?
So I don't have any agenda items specifically to discuss on the 10th, but I do want to share with the public that we will be meeting at City Hall moving forward in our redevelopment commission meetings. So we had a member of the public express the acoustics in this space. I do agree. It is difficult to hear, even, hearing the presentation, I, realize how difficult it is to hear. So with that, moving to City Hall, we'll have the equipment necessary. We'll be able to be live streamed, and we'll be able to have the equipment necessary for our speakers, members of the public, to be able to be heard amongst everyone much better than the space that we're in currently. So again, understand that our next meeting will be held at City Hall on July 10th at 4 p.m.
Commissioner and Councilman Darren Washington.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today we took a vote to have our redevelopment commission meetings done twice a month. Historically, they have been done over the past few years once a month, and I believe in moving our meetings to twice a month. That gives redevelopment commission a better opportunity to work with the public and to work with potential people that want to make our city better, where we can engage and have more public meetings to be able to make sure that the public is well aware and making sure that there is transparency. We're working diligently with redevelopment staff to make this process a lot better for everyone. The staff has a lot of responsibility, but we also have a responsibility as redevelopment commissioners to make sure that your voices are heard, and so we're committed to doing that. So I ask that you bear with us as we work on and implementing a better public plan to ensure that when developers come in, they have an opportunity, like you saw today, to be able to engage the public about what's being done. And as I stated today, I want to be working with the administration to have BWI come back to do a town hall forum. I'm going to try to get it done at the Gary Public Library since this development is downtown. So I'm going to be working with the mayors and their team schedule to make sure that the administration is there. So some specific questions can be asked about financing and funding and other things that the public will need to know, because this has the potential to be a monumental development. but we want the development to be done in the correct way, as this board wants every future development to be done in the correct way. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. And now, the big one.
So moved.
Well, there's been a motion to adjourn.
Already done.
And a second from somebody. And
Read
roll
your
call.
mind.
Commissioner Chambers.